And we're live. What's up, Kingdom of Rock? This is Matt Gibson with another exciting episode in the COVID-19 and the entertainment business series. We've been doing this for way too long. Isn't that right, Mike?
Stop this thing. Stop this thing.
That's right. We want to get off the merry-go-round, right? Groundhog Day over and over again.
Yeah.
Get to hear all the sad stories about how these poor musicians are struggling out there with all these shutdowns and changes in the entertainment business, and it's going to be hard out there. But you know what? We're going to figure this out, and we're going to make it better, and we're going to adapt and overcome. And speaking of that, interesting name parallel. We have our guest today, Chaos.
Yeah.
And so does that mean, are you guys here to balance the chaos and bring balance back to the force so that the world can?
Yeah, maybe it's like the yin yang chaos. Maybe it cancels out. Yeah, it cancels out the chaos. Yeah, that's good response. It's weird because we've actually noticed recently that like the word chaos seems to be thrown around all the time. Everyone is thinking about chaotic things, so our name seems weirdly relevant suddenly. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna make use of that now and adapt.
Well,
or just take us all down. I mean, maybe that's okay. Just take us down, gang. Just take us down.
Yeah, we're here to destroy everyone. Actually,
yeah. This is the end.
We couldn't do anything with the world, so you gotta go for it.
Yeah.
Well, so are you guys? So why don't you guys introduce yourselves a little bit and tell Kingdom of Rock a little bit about your musical journeys and how you're sisters, correct?
We are. Yeah. We're sisters. I'm Chloe. And Aussie. And yeah, we're kind of hanging in there. We're like doing the live streams and trying to get used to that. Honestly, Aussie and I for some reason we never went live before. We're terrified of going live on Instagram. I think I accidentally went live once and got freaked out. But yeah, so definitely it's coming. It's me and Aussie overcoming some of our fears with with going live and I don't know, it's very exposing and front and center. And I feel like I don't have the YouTuber personality, the hey guys, what's going on? There's a personality where you can make anything entertaining. Yeah, so I kind of I don't know. I think for me and Aussie, we're just kind of having fun with it and getting used to doing that, getting over the weird awkwardness of the virtual. It also stuff it's really interesting because it feels so much like the Truman Show because people are live so often that it's kind of like your weird virtual life is now just out there for everyone to see, and all these artists are doing that, so it's kind of in a way it's so intimate, but then it's also totally not because it's virtual. Everything feels weird, but yeah, I don't know. I think there is really cool stuff you can do with live stream. It seems it's cool to connect with fans that way and stuff. So yeah.
Like everything else that's been interesting, where some bands who are used to playing live to arenas or big audiences, some of them are awesome on live streams because they have that charisma thing down, and some of them kind of need the big stage and the big audiences to have the charisma. Yeah. It's so dorky and not so awesome on live streams. I mean, it's a funny way to look at people that we've grown to enjoy as artists, because it's wow, you're all different,
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was reading, actually my dad sent me Dave Grohl's article about, he wrote an article for The Atlantic recently about live shows. I don't know if you guys read it, but somehow the way that he was describing how it is for him to perform, obviously in huge arenas and stuff, is just kind of, it just made me, I don't know, it's man, actually I kind of forgot what that's like to be at a show and to know that you're that close with all these people who are letting loose and stuff. Yeah. And that is something that seems necessary as a part of music. So it's really weird to not have that right now. Yeah, pretty crazy.
Well, it's been interesting even, I mean, of course, it's just my opinion, but some shows that I'd like the Graham Norton show from on the BBC, he's kind of hit their version of the Tonight Show or something. And, you know, I so enjoyed that show when he had an audience, and so don't enjoy it when he's just talking to people phone to phone. There's just something about he works so well with an audience and doesn't really work so well talking to people on a laptop, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's also really interesting where I think a lot of the musicians that I know that are like incredible performers live and just work so well with a huge crowd are super shy in reality, and it's kind of a surprising juxtaposition that, yeah, I feel like most people that I know that just have that energy live, yeah, it doesn't translate as well in person, and they kind of need that as like an outlet to, you know, to feel like understood in a way. Yeah.
Well, and I know that you're in the middle of releasing stuff because you did some stuff for us over at, I also do some work for Modern Drummer. You did an awesome video for us and an awesome article for us at Modern Drummer. So thanks for that, Chloe. But on the other hand, here we are, you have this thing ready to release, and it's the zombie apocalypse. So what plans do you have for, you know, promoting it?
For promoting new material right now?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Oski and I we've been trying to think out of the box right now. It feels like this, it feels like an arms race for musicians right now. It's like everyone, like going, you know, crazy with like trying to you know, do their best to stay relevant right now. And yeah, I feel like Oski and I have definitely like a lot of ideas of ways to kind of, yeah, I guess we've been thinking for a while, actually, even before this all happened, of ways to translate music more in the virtual realm that still feels emotional and that you can connect with. And I mean, of course, it's so hard to try to do that, but I think VR is definitely going to open a world of possibilities for that. And yeah, so Austin and I we're definitely like thinking about different ways to promote the stuff virtually and you know, without the live shows. And we've just been working a lot on getting like the audio set up really good for our live streams, just not going directly through the phone. And we've been so we've had that, and yeah, better audio with the live streams to try to like keep people able to listen and not just be hearing this horrible like crunchy sound. Yeah, I don't know. Oski and I, we definitely have a lot of ideas of things. I know nothing that I'm positive is going to happen yet, so I don't want to like, you know, lead anyone on. But I would love to do some VR experience at some point. That would be awesome. Yeah, and we're working on some video ideas right now, actually, with this claymation director Lee Hardcastle. Yeah, and that's actually randomly ended up working out kind of well because we had been planning on the idea for a while, and we've been working on it. And he is like somehow really not affected at all by it. He kind of just lives in his apartment. He makes all of his claymation videos in there.
He has a clay setup.
Yeah. The clay world does not have corona, so the clay world is thriving.
I guess the thing that is interesting though is it felt, it's kind of crazy that this quarantine thing had to jumpstart everyone into like everything's fully virtual, because we already knew we were heading in that direction. Yeah. So like all this music was kind of adapting, but slower. And then suddenly everyone realized like, oh shit, this is the thing now. Like everyone actually, like the only way to exist as a band is virtually. And I guess that's super cool and exciting. I think the only thing is just that there's like certain things that are really hard to translate over, like some of the kind of, you know, the live feeling, the emotion of a live performance, and like the rawness, I guess, like being at a show and having people there. It's like what you're saying, where, you know, it's different to interact with the crowd, or I guess to just like perform when you're performing in front of actual people.
Yeah, it's like,
and I also know that, like we like to really like have it be like, we like to go into the crowd and like be there with the fans and people there. Like that's what makes it an awesome experience for us. So obviously we can't like dive into the phone and that'd be crazy.
I was just kind of thinking as you were talking about that, like I wonder if there's a way that you could make the interactions of the fans part of the show. Like like if you could create some concept with your music where they, kind of like a choose
That's
your own
cool.
adventure. Like did you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about where it's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
A or B, you want to go this way or go that way?
I love that kind of idea, and I think a lot of people are
Like the
trying
Black
to
Mirror episode thing.
develop that kind of stuff, and also with YouTube music videos. Like you can do a VR, you can do like a VR music video. It's not You're not like with the headset and everything, but you can scroll around the environment and then just kind of like find these little hidden things. Yeah, it's exciting. On the one hand, it's exciting, all of the like new developments that are going to happen and the stuff and the ideas that Aussie and I have. But yeah, I think we've been already kind of thinking about these ideas, and it would have been nice to just not have this horrible time that's forcing us to have to still try to figure out how to like sink or swim kind of thing right now with for musicians.
Well, that's one of the things that Matt and I have been discussing on this show to varying degrees. It's kind of a political, somewhat controversial thing, but right now we could have used real income from streaming to support us all. Musicians, let's face it, we gave away the bank. You don't make any money from streaming. I loved your comment about it took the crisis to kind of get musicians evolving forward. But it's funny that the old school thing of like being at a club playing a gig and having merch. It's so old school, but that's how most everybody was paying their rent. And now I hope whatever we come up with, whether it's claymation or VR or whatever, I just hope musicians as a whole figure out how to keep most of the money this time. So
I know. That's what I worry is that I worry that the environment right now is competitive and that artists aren't going to figure out how to work together to demand like not being screwed over by whatever big company. I mean, I have ideas about which companies are going to be doing this, but I don't want to like create bad blood or anything. But
don't give me the ideas either.
There's
Maybe
definitely going to be
right now.
if this continues on much longer, there's going to be big platforms that are going to be hosting live shows, and then a lot of people are going to be out of jobs. All the crew people are going to be out of jobs, and if they don't offer good amounts for the musicians, and then it's like, well, you take it or you leave it. That is going to be tough.
Well, that's basically just how the music industry like always is.
I hope that, and I know it is, but I hope that like somehow musicians can somehow like band together right now and not let that happen.
I think a lot of times when it comes to innovation, the people that are going to benefit from that are the early adopters, the people that go out and take risks first, right? But I think artists a lot of times they want to just do their art, and then other people are doing their art, which is building a business structure or building a technology system or whatever, and then they're like, oh, these people are taking advantage of us, right? But if the artists can pair themselves with people in those disciplines and build products with those people, that's when I think that there's synergy and everybody, all the ships rise with the rising tide,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
So one thing, like that we do with Kingdom of Rock is we have meetups and we try to bring people from other disciplines like technology or marketing or business or whatever it is, and we pair them with artists so that we can all start having a discussion and building our own kind of thing that we have ownership and control of, and not everybody can run a business, but you can build friendships and relationships with people that care about what you're doing. And so
sure.
Well, number one, just artists, musicians, artists, creative people, quit giving your shit away. Just stop.
Right.
I know.
Right.
I mean, we're already doing
Yeah.
that with the live streams. Everyone's just like,
It's like
you know,
too
doing
much.
their concerts for free.
Yeah, everyone is giving so much for free. Like, how come musicians need to be? They need to be more like people that can, I don't know, like YouTuber people who like are really good at doing their thing and then always thinking about like how they're gonna get support from the
Right.
fans and stuff.
like the monetizing.
But I guess like it is interesting that when you're talking about how it's kind of just part of the art, I guess. Like it's not like, oh, music has been taken away from us or something. It's really just that we're all given a chance to adapt and to like find ways to, you know, make this VR art now if we can. And it's about like collabing with people and partnering with people.
Yeah.
And stuff. We have tons of control. It's not like we don't.
It's like somebody took away all the clay out of art class, and all we have to create with is cardboard and paste and crayons.
Right.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, so let's make the most awesome cardboard, paste, and crayons art that we can.
I feel like I've had this assignment before in school.
Yeah, exactly.
Something out of this.
It's not that, you know, I think you two are in control of whatever you do. You know, it's when the new VR thing comes or when those concerts that you talked about come. And then I promise to get off this thing. It's just, we all have to be not saying, oh, hey, big company, you're going to broadcast my gigs. I guess that's how we're going to do stuff. Oh, you're not really going to pay me because you're going to use it for promotion and you're not making money yet. And I just go, and the artists just go, okay, but please just put us on the distribution stream and you'll be good. Take it for free, you know. Just please, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Just say no. Just say no.
Say no.
But then of course there's like somebody else that's going to come around and say yes and get the opportunity. So you're like, what do I do? What do I do? You know. So Astia, let me ask you, what was your like musical journey? How did you get into music, and what obviously what brought you together is partially that you're sisters, but musically, how did you guys come together and create Chaos?
Well, I guess we have a sort of crazy story because we have been playing since we were like 5 and 7, and it was sort of, I guess, like back to clay. It was literally just, you know, like a fun thing that was in front of us. Like the piano was something that was always, for some reason, like super. That was like the toy that I wanted to play with most, and I would try to like, I would play with it when I was super young, and just started like making songs. I didn't even really know what I was doing. I had like no idea what song structures were or anything like that. But it was somehow just like, that was like how I like to use my imagination or something. It was just like playing with toys. And then Chloe was always just really good, like at like,
look at this picture of Aussie. This is like Aussie's energy that she still has.
Oh,
nice.
Diva.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
Diva energy, intense relationship.
Yeah, I guess I don't really know what's going on in that picture, but yeah, and then
like you were channeling Little Richard in that picture.
I was like way more of a diva than I am now. But so Chloe and I started playing together because she learned drums when she was I don't know how old you were.
I don't know, but this picture kind of is a good indicator.
Oh wow!
We were going through some pictures, like quarantine activity.
Yeah, we went through old pictures.
Found some funny old ones.
But we started just playing together for fun, and it was we would just play all the time, and like randomly, Jason McGurr, who's the drummer of Death Cab for Cutie, ended up giving actually both of us drum lessons. But then it just like made sense for Chloe to do it, for me to play piano. And we somehow like really quickly were just like a Seattle band. We were like these tiny kids that we'd play with, like, and we were kind of in like the punk rock scene for some reason, which is really funny because we were like piano and drums, but we had like a punk energy. And it was just this really fun thing. But I remember I would get super nervous before shows, and the only thing that would make me feel better was if I would like Chloe and I would both wear our soccer uniforms for some reason. That would make us feel like I would be like head to toe wearing my soccer clothes on stage.
Right. That was like our performance mode.
That was what it worked. But so that was kind of how it started. And then I think because Chloe and I are like sisters and best friends and just have kind of weird creative connection, I guess we've always had like just wanted to play music together and kind of had the same vision, I guess. Like we've done stuff on our own, but there's just definitely like a sister connection that has involved with music.
So this has been born, it's really amazing, and cute actually that, you feel this connection as sisters. So you never wanted to like add, we need a horn section and we need a guitar player. It was always just you two together against the world, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but we did have musicians come with us on tour. For a while, we had a cellist with us who would play. It's kind of an interesting choice that we chose cello because we wanted him to play do like guitar solos on cello. So we'd always be like, all right, you got to rock out in this part. Just find a way to rock out and And he would actually play like the guitar parts that we had in songs, to play it on his cello. But it's always been us as like the main band backbone, I guess. Yeah.
Well, what's your typical writing process then? Let's say for the song you just put out. I mean, how does that? I guess there's no typical writing process, but how are you most comfortable writing?
Creatively.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's really different all the time. For that song, Capital T, which is more of an instrumental, kind of strange, contemplative, electronic song. That one we made it when we were in an Airbnb in the desert on a writing trip, and we were definitely in like an isolated kind of vibe already being there. And we made that song kind of quickly. Aussie just had the piano part and added some ambient vocals to it with some effects. And then I kind of like went rogue because I had just gotten, when you just get like a new plugin or something and you're like, yeah, you're using it so much. I was using the Sonic Charge Microtonic drum machine plugin a lot. But I guess I have a little bit of a conflict sometimes with using, like I never, for some reason, maybe this is just my own limitation, but I can never like use a preset or a loop or anything. I have to, maybe it's an ego thing, but I have to like create it on my own. So on the Microtonic drum machine, you can like completely create your own beats and your own sounds. And it reminds me of my Tempest, actually, like my Tempest drum machine that I use. It's kind of similar, but electronic, and just kind of went crazy with the drums. And I was like, Aussie, I don't know if you're gonna like this. I just went rogue with it. And then Aussie was like, oh, no, you should, let's definitely keep it like that. I like it. I like that vibe. And then I just added like live drums to it. And then I told Aussie to try, I was trying to learn how to do like a screamo voice. Because I wanted to add some like shocking sounds in there, but I couldn't do it. Like I was trying, I was looking at like YouTube tutorials of doing the screamo, but it's all men doing it. It's like I feel like it must be a different technique. I just wasn't really working for me, so I was like, Aussie, you should try doing some screamo thing, because Aussie has like the ability to kind of do that somehow. And then she added some like kind of screamo-y vocals. So basically, we're just like in the desert in this like small like desert cabin, like doing screamo like vocals and live drums, and that's how that song was born. Yeah.
It's funny. The screamo thing is like aggressive whispering, and it's kind of like It's so funny because like when you look at like all these black metal bands, it's like it's so intense. But if you know the secret and you think about exactly what's happening, it's kind of funny to like.
I know.
It's the opposite of what you think it is, So
yeah, it's like it feels like wrong or something. Like you want to yell and like hurt your voice, but then
right.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to give a shout out to some of our people watching the broadcast. We've got Curtis Horvath. We were talking about the claymation for a music video like La Pump. That sounds so cool.
Oh yeah, awesome that he knows that video.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And then Matt Whitcomb says these shows are so rad. Great job, Gibson. Well, that's more for me. Sorry. And then
Yeah, a lot
Audrey,
of good
Audrey Ray Champ is out there. She's you guys know who Orianthi is, the guitar player? She's like she played for Michael Jackson. She was his last guitar player. But she's Orianthi's personal assistant. She's watching.
Oh, that's so cool.
And Artists Unite. How's it going, Audrey? And so let me ask you this. Chloe, what got you into music? I mean, obviously you're kind of on the same path, but what were your motivations and drives to get into music?
Yeah, I think when I was younger, I just had to keep up with Aussie and everything that she was doing, and I definitely have a really competitive energy, or like that's just how I operate. Like I do my best when I'm being competitive with sports or with music. And I remember when I was younger and when I started taking those drum lessons, it was kind of randomly that ended up happening. And I wasn't in it yet at that point. I was just learning, taking drum lessons from Jason. And then I think it was the kind of the competitive vibe that really got me hooked, because I would have like a new goal that I'd want to get to with the drumming. And then I would, try to get there. And I remember my goal at the time was, I had this like VHS video of Tony Royster doing this crazy solo, and I would watch it so much, and I would be like, I'm gonna be better than Tony Royster. That was my
practice.
goal. That was my goal at the time. I mean, I've kind of recalibrated my goals, but yeah, that was kind of like the drive, was trying to be, I think when I was younger, that was kind of my goal. I was like, I want to be the best. And I got really into drumming.
I remember, like, even when you were really young, like on the songs, when you would add drum beats, you'd always you couldn't just add like the most simple thing. You always had to add something that was like going in like an opposite rhythm, or like trying like a new weird drum beat that was like really hard for you to do. Like you were always like challenging yourself.
Like I thought that I don't think I really understood songwriting back then. Like I thought that I had to like show off a little bit. But then Jason, who was recording our stuff, he would always tell me, he'd be like, Chloe, less is more, less is more. Yeah. Like I would just respond. I could be like, no, more is more. But yeah, I would try to like, and then I tried to learn like more restraint and everything. But yeah, I think it was actually kind of a sport-like mentality that got me invested, because drumming is really physical also, and it feels like this energetic activity.
Well, do you feel like not studying songs per se and wanting to as you said, not really understanding what song structures was, do you think that was a help to both of you finding your own voice, or have you ever gone, I should go back to studying the Beatles, or whatever?
I think it's really cool that you mentioned that, because we thought about that recently. Obviously when we were kids, we didn't have anything to compare it to, but I think not knowing stuff was really cool, because if you're going to do something and get better at it, you're going to figure out the necessary rules anyways. So you're going to figure stuff out, but it's definitely cool to like not just be completely trying to emulate other stuff, but to just kind of express yourself. And like, obviously as a kid, it's easier to express yourself in like a genuine way. And we're trying to, like, I think we've been thinking about that now, and just how like, it's, as you've been like, if you play music and if you do anything for a long time, it's hard to not overthink it at a certain point. And that, so I think we're just realizing that like, our natural like music, like our creativity and our drive is kind of like a just fun like sporty thing. Like we just like to have fun and challenge ourselves and try new things. And that's definitely, I always am wanting to like try a different kind of song, maybe too much, because that's just always my goal. Like, I'm super excited by like kind of trying weird things that like probably shouldn't work in a song, trying to make those things work.
That's some of the best stuff back in the albums in the 60s and 70s, like were just people like making up like sounds in the studio.
Right.
Like, you know, like
Yeah.
the Beach Boys, you know, they did all kinds of
Yeah.
just weird little like things, you know, like let's bang this thing on a glass or something, you know, or
And it's like this super memorable sound, but you can't try to create that. If you're another band, you can't really try to do that same thing. It's not going to work.
I still think it's awesome that you guys try to evolve forward, because I mean, the Beach Boys were the Beach Boys, the Beatles were the Beatles, but for a lot of bands, there was an A&R person in the studio back then saying, no,
Yeah,
no more, you know, don't do that drum fill. You need to play an acoustic guitar on this song. You know, there was a lot of structure because everybody was trying to get hits.
Yeah.
Your band obviously doesn't need to do that. You can explore whatever you want, unless you feel like you should hold yourself to a certain standard.
I think we do. Like, to be honest, we do kind of have that A&R person like inside us. Like, we are already kind of, we can't, because we're like independent musicians, so we can't like completely not think about the business side of things and, you know, I guess making money and stuff. So, and that's another thing like we did not think about when we were kids, and now it's kind, you know, it's impossible to not think about it. So we do then.
So we do. Yeah, I guess.
How does that manifest itself? Like, you know, the money thing. Like, you're like,
We
okay,
hold money in front of Aussie in the studio.
Like play like this $100 bill.
It's all you, Aussie. You tank this. It's no rent next month.
If I do a good vocal take, I get Nazi.
Yeah.
Actually, we kind of.
Well, yeah, I think that we do. I think that also is kind of it's kind of like a competitive thing for us too, not with each other, but just just challenging ourselves. I think that the challenge or the what we are always trying to achieve, which is totally oxymoronic, which is classic us. But yeah, we're always trying to. So right now, our mentality, and for a while, it's been, I guess, with Chaos, we've been doing pop music, and we've been trying to find the balance between like the, you know, just completely letting ourselves and like our weird ideas come through into the songs, and then also trying to make it be pop songs, you know, and that's kind of the mentality for like all of our chaos stuff is sometimes a song will actually sound like too in the pocket pop, and we're like, all right, we got to fuck it up a little bit. So yeah, I think it's just finding that balance where we really feel like our energy is there. And I think more recently we've been able to look back at the smoosh energy that we had that was good, and trying to bring that back more, like just have fun with what we're doing. And so I think it took a while to actually get to a point where we could look back at like our careers as kids and not look at it critically, but look at it with a lens of like, oh yeah, there actually is a really great thing about having that free spirit and energy in what you do. And yeah, I think me and Aussie, like, I could never have that kind of energy with like anyone else that I work with, but me and Aussie, it's like there actually is this kind of weird sister collective brain thing where we can just, sometimes we'll just be jamming like forever, and we're getting like so into it, and we're getting really in this world where it's like this imaginary world that we're in. And I don't think, and that's definitely like reminiscent of the kind of smoosh energy we had, and like why we kept doing what we did, because it just felt it was just fun and felt really meditative. So yeah, just trying to always like have a good balance of like sticking to our work ethic, but also having fun with it.
What do you guys do like when you're talking about how like if the song is too poppy, you'd F it up a little bit, you know, like what do you do to kind of like, okay, this is too polished, or this is too predictable, or
what do we do to those songs?
Yeah, what do you do to like break out of like a stereotype or whatever's in your mind about that track?
Sometimes I'll tell Austin like to record, just to like do a take do a take of like some weird vocal add-on ideas that are just kind of crazy and wacky, and then we try to fit that into the song. Like we did that with the song called Blue on the last record.
Mhm.
And yeah, it definitely added like another layer of like energy. It felt authentic. Other things are definitely with the drum production. Like for me, I have to make sure that I get my, even though it's annoying to be like so particular about like these tiny little like tweaks with the drums and the sounds, like no, I need it to be like this weird recorded like pencil on the table sound that I had. Like I need to like always, no matter like what studio or producer I'm with, I need to always make sure that I make that stuff come through. I think it's just, I think it's that, yeah, it's
And
just the
that's
personality
usually
stuff.
that we like doing anyways. Like it's not really forced. I think that's kind of like our natural, the natural kind of production that we do. Like we add like really weird sounds and, yeah, I mean that's just like that's kind of naturally how I would like experiment with a song. But sometimes when we do like, I think when we like talk about a song structure, or if we are like thinking about it a lot in that way, then sometimes it can move away from that direction of like the more weird kind of, you know, yeah, the weird sounds and stuff. So then we have to bring it back. But it's, yeah, that's, I don't know. I feel like maybe our songs are more weird than we think also, because we always think the song is like, oh, sounds like mainstream pop, and then I like realize that it's like totally not like that.
I would kind of describe it as like art pop. Like you have
That's a good.
kind of like it's like art and pop like combined together. You know, like it's like a like kind of a
Yeah, that makes sense.
museum art type thing.
Yeah,
It has that, and you kind of had that contrarian element to it, where it's like pop, but then it has that contrarian element to it.
right, yeah.
Almost a Zappa or a Bjork or something that's just like a little
Bjork
off
is a
the
good
beat,
example.
yeah, off the beaten path type thing.
Yeah, I have. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
Bjork.
that's awesome.
Bjork is definitely a big influence for us. She always has she always has like an emotional, real energy in her vocals. No matter what, she has that in all of her songs. And then there's definitely, I like how with her there's like a free spirit experimentation going on with the production stuff. And me and Aussie have been definitely like, yeah, I'm we've been doing a lot more of just of electronic production and trying to find ways to make it sound more. I guess we're always trying to make things have like an energy in it, or like bring them to life in some way. Actually, the Sonic Charge plugins have been really cool for doing that. Like Aussie's gotten really into using the Syn Plant plugin by Sonic Charge, and yeah, I feel like that you've been with that plugin. It's, maybe you could say more about it than me, but it's supposed to be designed kind of like a plant. It's supposed to be designed like a plant, and it somehow has this weird plant-like raw sound to the synth. It doesn't sound, like too robotic. And Aussie's been doing so much with that synth on the new material.
For me, it's way more intuitive, I think, than some other like analog synth stuff. Like I like doing that too, but the way that I create on the Syn Plant is,
that one right there.
Yeah.
So it's, you like draw, you kind of grow different like parts of the plant as different synths and different elements of the sound, and there's a lot you could do with it. Like I actually
that's cool.
use it a lot. It's really cool.
Organic sounds by planting seeds that grow into synth patches.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like an instrument and video game all in one.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, it's really, it's super cool. I love that a lot.
But I think that's kind of how, especially when you do it for a while. A typical musician would go, well, I got to figure out a way to fuck myself up and get out of my comfort zone. And I think that when you look at things like this, where it is kind of a random, you really have to sit there and go, I'm willing to follow the software and see if I dig it. It's not like if I pick up a guitar, I always know how it's going to sound like until I decide to fuck it up somehow. But
Right.
I think it's good to it's interesting that, you seem to be looking for ways to keep yourselves off balance kind of too.
Yeah, that's a really good description of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like way better than I could have said it, but I think that is true also just because we've been playing for a little while, and I think just in general people always create better more more authentic stuff when you kind of like limit yourself in some way, put yourself in a different position, so you have a different perspective or whatever.
But Chloe mentioned, when you've worked with producers, and you seem like such a self-contained unit. I mean, is it weird? And I don't know if this has even happened, but does a producer go, "Oh, can you not do that pencil on the table snare sound, Chloe?" Or can you not do the weird plant growing into a scary bush synth sound? Yeah. I mean, because sometimes that's kind of how producers make their mark on stuff. It's like they're going to weigh in with what they feel they should add. Is that ever a problem for your creative focus?
Sometimes, I don't know. I think that me and Aussie at this point, we like trust ourselves enough to really, we work with people that we know really understand our vision and what we're going for. At this point, I think it was like that at first. We're trying to. Sometimes, if you're working with someone new, sometimes it can feel like you need to go like overboard to be heard with what you're really going for. But yeah, I think
especially
that
if
now
you're doing kind of weirder things too. Like you're not gonna expect everyone to be like on the same page. Like if you have like a song that you could make into like a really standard pop song, but then you want to fuck it up, like obviously it makes sense that producers are gonna be like, oh no, like it's so close to being this kind of perfect thing.
Yeah.
To get there, and that's like what they're supposed to do. So I think that it's just about finding people that understand the vision, and we're really like, I think Chloe and I like doing the production on our own. Sometimes we just have different ways of working. It depends on the song, but a lot of times we're like, we kind of know what we want to do with this, and we want to produce it and take it all the way on our own. And then other times we actually want someone else's input or involvement to kind of maybe like do their own messing up of the song. So it doesn't work if you're like not like, you have to just know what you want from the song and know your vision and have people work with you that are on board with that.
Yeah, because I guess if you just go into studio with a new producer, if they don't totally understand your vibe, then you're going to become like whatever these really oversimplified ideas are of what the producer has of you. Like, oh, you're a girl, you got to do this like sweet girl voice or whatever it is that is
they're not going to tell
expected
you
of you is going to happen if you don't go crazy, like establishing what you're going for and being confident about it.
I kind of found that we have this weird thing where like I know what Chloe is capable of with music stuff, and then she knows what I'm capable of. Sometimes you get lost and you can't totally see that when you're working on a song with yourself. But we're kind of like our own like producers for each other sometimes. We're like it's become a really helpful thing. Like I know that I can trust Chloe to kind of like know how far I could take my vocals on this part of the song, or if I should
kind of like
better,
keep each other in check, and we're definitely really honest with each other too, and really hard on each other.
Well, that's awesome. So she might go, Chloe might say to you, Aussie, hey man, I know you can do better than, you're holding back. You're not into this. Get over yourself. Go,
Yeah,
sort of. It is hard because I know like sometimes I've gotten mad at her for that, where I'm like, because I know she's right also.
Yeah, sometimes when you're like recording vocals and I'm like, and you're, I don't know, I'll text you something while you're in, try to like,
I was like,
yeah.
Or it was like, because I think we had that recently. I was recording vocals and I was in this closet. I was actually like smashed between Chloe's clothes. We did that for like a vocal sound. And so it was already like a kind of emasculating situation for me. But then like I did like one vocal take and I knew it was bad. And then I looked at my phone and saw that Chloe already texted me. I was like, no. Probably. I didn't even look at what she said because I just knew it was like something. It was
Yeah.
good advice.
I think you were like in the mic. You're like, "Cool, you have something to say to me?"
So what's the weirdest thing that you've done to get out of the box? Like tied one of your arms behind your back when you're playing drums or something different?
Oh my God. I guess one
You've done
time.
really good.
One time when we recorded Withershins, that was the last Smoosh record, and we did that in Jason McGurr's studio. So we were going back to working with him, and that I think Jason for one song like took off my cymbals, and I was like, no, what are you doing? He took off the cymbals and was like, like just
Jason's like the
deal
only
with it.
person you'd let.
Yeah, and I was like really frustrated with that, but then ended up like the beat was way more interesting that I came up with. It wasn't just like a in the pocket kind of thing. What else have we done? We've done weird
Like
things.
you always have really weird ideas. I know when we were we recorded the last full length album at the studio called Dreamland in upstate New York, and then we would just kind of we were like, oh, we should really try to like curate the vibe that we would get in for these different songs. So we would like either play some like weird film like on silent and then put up all these pictures around us when we would sing. So we tried like watching. I actually don't know if that.
We had an aim for this song that was supposed to like really channel this aggressive energy. We put up a picture of Trump
right in front of us,
like this horrible picture is a gross picture of Trump, and we put it in front of us. It actually made me so angry when I was singing that it was it worked out. It got the right energy out of us.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember when I don't know whether it was Fleetwood Mac recording Rumors or whatever, but Stevie had them project like I don't even know if this is true, but had them like project flowers in the vocal booth while she was singing, just to have the same kind of thing. Thing,
Yeah, I think
it's so interesting how that it helps. It definitely works. Yeah, I had this one studio space. There's this a huge lizard just ran by.
Did you say lizard or wizard?
A lizard that just ran by. It's doing push-ups.
Wizard over here.
It's doing the weird like lizard push-ups.
I was like, what kind of land are you guys in over there? Wizard land.
Wizards and unicorns.
It's the world of Harry Potter. Yeah, good.
Unicorns got it all.
But what was I just going to say? We had this one studio space that we built in our apartment in New York, and I put up I just found this huge book of like pictures of sea creatures and fish. So I put up all these pictures of sea creatures like around the whole studio. I think Aussie was like shocked when he came in there. But a lot of the songs we ended up creating
influenced me in like a way that I didn't even really want. I didn't know that I had that I wanted that.
Sebastian, like
everything
under
had
the sea music.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it definitely influenced the kind of vibe that we were with the songs. But I think in a cool way, like cool sea creature vibe. But
that would be a cool gimmick as a producer, is to be like an interior decorator producer, and your job is to like put weird things to inspire the music, like from a theme or something.
That's every producer every day these days. There's always the thing they come up with.
Totally.
Oh, I think you take your cymbals off, or I think you should record through a transistor radio, or I think we should bring roses into the studio,
It's usually like, I mean, not always, but a lot of times it's actually those people are, they're putting some limitation on the artists, because artists don't always know that that's what they need to do for some reason, to like get out of their own box. But like a lot of, and I know I've heard that from my friends too, who are musicians, like just with the way that they've created like some of their best stuff. It was like this weird limitation. Like I think E from Eels.
That worked better with
saying something about that. Yeah. Maybe this is in his book. I can't remember if it's in his book or if it's something he said, but that he like made My Beloved Monster in like 10 minutes. Because someone was like, go to the basement and make a song, and then he like went to the basement and made a song in 10 minutes. And it was like sometimes when it's just sort of the wrong time, that's when you're like you don't have any pressure and you're
actually that's true.
So
I think that we have.
At least that's how I work.
We definitely, I noticed that some of the stuff that Yeah, like actually we can write stuff really fast, and we can write stuff really fast for
airplane.
when it's like a sync thing, or if it's some
Oh,
cue that's needed for an
totally our
episode.
sports mentality again.
Yeah,
we
and
love it. We're like,
we definitely
crazy
work.
stuff.
Yeah, we work really well under pressure. Actually, like we've had a lot of like sync stuff and songs, and I mean in TV shows, and for some reason there's always like a super quick turnaround with that, where they're like, oh, we need it in like 2 days.
It's really stressful.
So yeah, it's actually we found it to be like kind of a good method for us to work, because we'll just make stuff really fast with whatever time. Basically, we'll create with whatever time we have. Like if we just have this huge stretch of time, we'll use all of it. Or if we have one day, we'll make it work.
You know, there was like this one time that we had this one. We had to write a song for something from scratch. We had a day, and we were actually like just finishing our tour that day, and we had a flight, like a 6-hour flight home, and we were like, oh my god, like how are we gonna make this work? So we ended up like having to write it together on the airplane. We were sitting in different places, and we had our like MIDI keyboards out, and we were playing, and then we were like communicating via the like airplane chat thing. Like it was so crazy. But we actually did it though, and it felt so rewarding when we.
That was actually, yeah, that was crazy. That was the most stressful situation ever, because we had to create it and we had a layover also. So we created. We started it off by we had a layover. Can't remember where it was, like Chicago or something, and when we just like posted up in this restaurant bar in the airport, and I had like my Tempest out. Aussie had her MIDI keyboard.
Yeah, like we ordered like one drink. Britton hated us.
Yeah, we ordered. Yeah, we all ordered one drink. Yeah, we were there for so long, and the people actually they tried to kick us out, and then we were like, we just like didn't at that point. It was ordered. Yeah, they were like they were trying to kick us out because they were like, you need to order something else if you're going to be here, and we were just. I was so like needing to just be focusing on finishing our song at the time, and I was probably such an asshole. Like, I don't know. I just needed to make it work, but we were probably being so annoying. We were like taking up so much space there.
Yeah, I don't think there's been too many songs written on airplane chat.
That was weird.
Oh my god, it was crazy.
That's all you guys. That's it.
Let's put this to the test. You have 15 seconds to create a song. Go.
You got one lemon. You got a pine cone.
Oh, there you go.
We've actually been creating this whole time. We have a song.
Yeah, we're gonna like. Are Michael and I like part of the? Do we get songwriting credit?
Yeah, produce.
Oh, yeah,
Huge credit, right?
Yeah, there's the producer thing. You know.
Yeah, you gotta come in and get that money, right?
Yeah.
Like the artists don't need any money. We'll take all of it.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my
God. We're getting close to the top of the hour here, and love this conversation. Very creative, inspirational, deep thoughts when it comes to how you create music, how you make music. I think a lot of artists are going to benefit from that, and you kind of got deep into like, you know, how do you mix it up? How do you change your perspective, your paradigm to kind of create that original, unique art that makes us human beings and not like cookie cutter stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But I want to give everybody a last word for the interview here. So let's start with Chloe. What's your last words for the Kingdom of Rock audience and your fans out there?
One word.
No. Well, you
get more than one word.
Oh, okay.
We'll limit you can have 5. No, I'm kidding.
Make it work. And my last word.
You could have written a song by now. Come on.
Yeah.
Under pressure.
Would it? I would say like during this time, this weird quarantine time, whenever you're feeling like this weird pressure to like oh, I have to do this or that to like keep my career going or my life and some, I don't know, just trying to keep some form of normalcy. Maybe try to take a moment and make sure that you're not like giving up part of who you are to try to just actually, you know what? Fuck that. That was the worst. I realized like, no, that's not right.
You're getting a little too poppy there, Chloe.
I felt a tear coming out when.
I just remember.
Stop the pop song. Stop the pop song.
Yeah.
All right, let's mix it up.
All right, whatever.
Just hit a pencil on a table.
Hit a pencil on a table and fuck it up. Maybe that's the last word.
I like that.
That's our collective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. That was awesome.
All right, Austin.
Oh, so
What
shit.
you got?
Hey, I was the one who just said the fuck it up thing, so I feel like that should be mine.
Okay, you get it.
Well, Chloe's juggling lemons and pine
Okay.
cones right now, which that's pretty good art right there in itself.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have any like words of wisdom to say right now to everyone.
Ossie's a bubble trouble wizard. we have figured out. So maybe, maybe that's a good quarantine activity for people.
I know I just started playing Bubble Trouble, and it I'm like immediately so addicted to it. But every time I play, I get super mad. It has that effect on you.
Yeah, games. I don't get that. People play games to have fun and get mad and get stressed out.
I know, because it's like that's how it activates your brain. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But, whatever. I mean, I don't know, but I think the only thing I want to say is this is a really cool combo, and it was, I think that we're all pretty desperate for like conversations and stuff, so it's cool to just have conversations with you guys. Why is this?
Maybe about the last
All right. This is like creative writing class here.
Exactly.
It totally
Maybe
is.
we don't
When you
work
have
well.
too much, when you have like free license to do what you want, you're like, this is not.
All right, Michael, take us home. Bring it together. What do you got?
Take it out.
I think it's awesome, Austin and Chloe, for sharing this stuff, because I think that in my early days as a corporate producer, my job was to tell the artist, you can't do the weird thing. And I absolutely ended up quitting that gig because I hated doing it, because the artist would get all charged up about something, and then I'd go back to my boss, and my boss would say, there's no fucking way this is going to be a hit if you let a xylophone on this thing or whatever, or if you let the artist play this weird fuzzed out bizarro stuff. And I think that what your creative engine and getting out of your comfort zones is amazing, and I just think all artists should feel okay about that. That's really where your personality develops, is when you're free to do whatever you want and not have some asshole like me go, nah, you're going to screw up your commercial potential if you put a glass bell on that. It's just crazy. And you guys make amazing music, and I think that I love the fact, I love how you do it. You're just awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank
you guys. Yeah,
so
awesome.
Or a jerky host that tries to make you come up with monumental, life-changing closing statements spontaneously.
It ruined both of our reputations. It failed.
Well, hey, it was so great to have you girls on the show. I'm going to definitely share your music out to the community. And we do have show guest meetups on Sundays at 1 p.m. So all the previous guests of the show go do a Zoom, and we all hang out and talk and network and stuff. So you guys are invited to come to that. I'm sure there'll be some great opportunities to meet musicians that are successful in different aspects of the music business,
or VR geniuses, we've
had a CEO of an AI company in there. We've had all kinds of stuff, and everybody's kind of like coming up with ideas and working together. So if you guys want to check it out,
it'd be awesome.
So and I'll give you an invite for that. And then also this Sunday we're going to have at 3 p.m. we're going to have the show guest meetup. So if you're a guest, show public meetup, the community Kingdom of Rock community meetup, 3 p.m. And if you would like to come to that out there, Kingdom of Rock, just go to the Kingdom of Rock Backstage Pass Facebook group. Join it, and we post the link in there so you can get in that Zoom as well. So
Awesome. Cool.
Does the lizard need a last word, or
He's
I
gone.
want to talk to the wizard. Where's the wizard at?
Wizard. Yeah.
Wizard.
All right.
All right, guys. Yeah,
Well,
thanks so much.
Kingdom of Rock out. Have a good one.
See ya.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.